And tonight, Black Lives Matter protesters are reacting to the mob scene in the nation's capital Wednesday, and many asking the same question. Why was the police response different than during the George Floyd protests earlier in the summer?
Rod Carter is live in Tampa with what those protesters had to say. A lot about this on social media too, Rod.
You know what? Even the president-elect is talking about this. You know, last summer there were a lot of people walking these streets here in downtown Tampa in protest of police brutality. I talked to two people who were out here several nights, and they tell me they looked at yesterday's riotous action in D.C. and said if those protesters had looked like them, things would have looked very different.
I actually was amazed by the restraint.
LARENZ Johnson was baffled at the police presence, or as he believes, lack thereof, in Washington, D.C. when rioters raided the Capitol. Mystified, he says, by how some seemed to just walk away without charges.
Oh, and it's not that we want anyone to be hurt or injured, but it's just amazing the double standard that seemed to have taken place.
Johnson was among hundreds of protesters who marched through downtown Tampa for several nights last summer. He claims police even chased him at one point.
It was amazing to me that in a local protest, you know, we can march peacefully downtown and be, you know, bombarded by police officers, but they can, you know, desecrate and vandalize the nation's capital and be met with such restraint.
They actually tear gassed a 13-year-old girl that day.
WERCKLE is with Black Lives Matter Tampa, and he was maced during the protest here. He watched yesterday and says he was frustrated by shots of Capitol police officers taking pictures with protesters before that chaos began.
The Capitol Police, some of the videos that I've seen, were absolutely complicit in everything that was happening yesterday.
Both Corey and LARENZ agree. It looked like the Capitol Police were understaffed and overwhelmed. They both question the planning, and both are afraid there's a reason why protests just months apart seem to be handled so differently.
I think, yeah, that's blatant. It's definitely skin color.
And that epic law enforcement failure in D.C. has a pretty major backlash. In fact, Nancy Pelosi today announced that she wants Capitol Police Chief to resign. Also, the Sergeant-at-Arms in the House has already quit, and Chuck Schumer is asking for the Sergeant-at-Arms in the Senate to resign as well. Says he's going to be fired. Stacey?